Legacy of John Lewis. We are going to continue to raise up the flag for good trouble here in New York and across this country to make sure that we continue to defend and protect our communities as well as our democracy. Today we take part of that the legacy of John Lewis as we create good trouble in response to the Trump administration's attacks on our civil and human rights in this country. We've seen unprecedented attacks here in New York City, across our country, and continue to witness the depravity of this administration. 50,000 immigrants are currently detained in this country, the most that we have ever seen. And after the passage of the Big Ugly Bill in the federal government, which is going to supercharge immigration enforcement in this country, our federal government has empowered DHS with an additional $170 billion, more than all other federal law enforcement agencies have combined. The Trump administration's actions in New York City have been ruthless. People showing up to immigration court right behind us and across the street are being swept away, snatched, and disappeared from their families, their communities, their homes, their city, and their state, flagrantly against the laws of our nation. Heavily armed and masked men are disappearing people from court, regardless of whatever the decision is in the courtrooms. On the 10th floor of this building right here, we are seeing them use that floor as a black site and a detention facility to disappear our community members for days on end in inhumane conditions, with no showers, with no access to good food, no access to their legal representation, and all for what? To continue this depraved notion of who's worthy and not in this nation. Today we're rallying to stop ICE abductions and to demand the reunification of families. We're calling on our state to hold a special session and pass the New York For All Act so that our local officials are not colluding with family separation and the gutting of our communities. We're also calling for the end of secret police in the United States. It's comical and sad that that even needs to be said in a democracy like ours. And lastly, calling to uphold our democracy and defend our civil liberties. It is not a high mark to be calling on, but that is where we are in the United States of America. We have a few people lined up to speak, and I want to introduce them to share some of their stories and their own calls to action. First up, join me in welcoming up to the mic impacted families who have borne witness to what is happening in this building behind us. And first up is Trini, the mother of Edgar, who's been disappeared and deported from this country.
Hello, buenas tardes.
Hello, good evening.
Mi nombre es Trini Bonilla. Soy madre de un hijo que fue deportado.
My name is Trini Bonilla.
Could you speak up loud?
My name is Trini and I'm the mother of my son who was deported.
Él fue detenido aquí en Federal Plaza por ICE.
He was detained by ICE here in Federal Plaza building.
No hubieron explicaciones ni motivo.
There were no explanations, no motive given
Para que él fuera a ser deportado del país.
for a reason for given to for deporting him.
Y eso es lo único que pido, que fuerza para seguir luchando y pues a ver qué podemos hacer para lograr esto que sea posible.
I ask for strength to keep in the struggle and hope that he can be returned to me.
Soy una persona discapacitada y por eso pedí el apoyo del gobierno para que mi hijo no fuera deportado.
I have a disability and I ask the government for my son not to be deported.
Y pues eso es lo único que pido, que muchas gracias y pues seguir luchando nada más.
So I want to thank you and I want to keep in the struggle. That's all I can do.
Sí, él me dijo que adentro él fue discriminado.
He told me that inside this detention here in Federal Plaza he was discriminated.
Y pues no recibió trato muy bueno ahí.
And he received really bad treatment there.
Y pues por eso fue pues la decisión que él no tomó de firmar nada, pues lo dejaron sin ninguna explicación, sin dejar ninguna firma ni nada. Pues eso fue lo que...
Nobody gave him any explanation of what was going on, and he didn't sign anything.
Thank you, gracias.
Thank you, Trini, and thank you for sharing your story. There have been hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of other families like Trini's. One family you may be aware of is Dylan, who was also taken at this courthouse and disappeared, moved to several states, and now he is fighting for his release. So join me in welcoming him up to the mic, our sister Raisa, Dylan's mother.
Hello everyone, my name is Pao Malu. I'm the president of Empathy at Rock NYC, Artist Athletes Activist. I'm here with Candace Braun. She's the Chief Empathy Officer at Rock NYC, aka Artist Athletes Activist. We stand in solidarity with the California farm workers on strike, demanding an end to the raids and kidnapping of our neighbors. It's been 2 long months, a total of 58 days today, to be exact, when Dylan was kidnapped in front of his mother while exiting the courtroom. We have been the emotional support for Dylan's mom, Raisa, and advocacy team on the ground, trying to get as many people to know about Dylan's story to help us push for his release. Today, we are standing here with Raisa, Dylan's mom, who would like to take this opportunity to speak to the world about her son and what she and her family have been going through while Dylan is still detained at Moshan Valley Detention Center in Pennsylvania.
Buenas tardes, soy Raisa, la madre de Dylan, y estoy preocupada por mi hijo.
Good afternoon, I'm Raisa, Dylan's mother, and I'm very worried about my son Dylan.
Ya son 2 meses cuando secuestraron a mi hijo delante de mis ojos, mientras salíamos de la sala de tribunal, y no pude hacer nada para ayudarlo.
It's been 2 months since my son was kidnapped right in front of our eyes as we were leaving the courtroom, and I couldn't do anything to help him.
Dylan no es un criminal, él es un joven estudiante, sin vicios y de buena conducta.
Dylan is not a criminal. He's a young, well-mannered student, and he doesn't have any bad habits or vices.
Trató de hacer todo lo legal y hoy sufre una detención injusta. Las condiciones en esos centros no son buenas, son discriminados con alimentos incluso dañados.
He has been doing everything legally asked of him, and today he continues to suffer in detention. The conditions in those detention centers are not good. There is a lot of mistreatment, and many times the food is spoiled.
Teniendo a mi hijo lejos de nosotros me ha causado depresión y ansiedad. Ahorita tengo un monitoreo del corazón por el dolor que tengo.
My son being away from us has caused me depression and anxiety. Right now, I'm wearing a heart monitor, as you can see, under the doctor's orders because of the pain and anguish all of this has caused me.
Agradezco el apoyo incondicional de muchas personas, incluyendo sus profesores y la organización ROC.
I am grateful for the unconditional support of many people, including his teachers and the Rock NYC organization.
No es fácil vivir con miedo, preocupación y desespero de no poder hacer nada por mi hijo, mientras tratando de mantener más fuerte para mis otros dos niños que esperan el regreso de su hermano Dylan.
It is not easy to live with fear, worry, and despair, and not being able to do anything for my son while trying to remain strong for my other two babies who desperately await the return of their brother.
Él necesita regresar a casa, es un niño aún y requiere cuidados por su condición de salud.
Dylan needs to return home to us. He is my child and requires special medical care due to his health condition.
Cuando escuché la noticia de los jóvenes que recientemente fueron liberados de detención, me dio una sensación de esperanza, porque Dylan fue el primer estudiante de secundaria de la ciudad de Nueva York que fue atrapado por esta nueva táctica.
When I heard the news about the young people who were recently released from detention, it gave me a sense of hope, because Dylan was actually the very first high school student in New York City to be trapped by this new tactic.
Sin embargo, tengo fe de que Dios haga justicia y toque los corazones de estas personas que están en contra de la comunidad migrante.
Through it all, I still have faith that God will bring forth justice and touch the hearts of those people that are against the immigrant community.
No todos somos malos y agradezco de todo corazón su apoyo. Dios bendiga y proteja a todos. No quiero pues que mi hijo Dylan quede en el olvido. Gracias.
Not all of us are bad people they make us out to be. I wholeheartedly appreciate your support. God bless and protect us all. I don't want my son to be forgotten. Please don't forget about Dylan. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, and we'll continue to fight for Dylan's release until it actually comes to fruition. Raiza. Next up, join me in welcoming Gwen Carr, Eric Garner's mother, as well as a civil rights leader in the city of New York.
Good afternoon, everyone. As everyone saw my son murdered on camera exactly 11 years ago today. And, you know, I've lived that nightmare ever since. And to see the immigrants live a nightmare as they're going through right now, I know that they're hurting. I know how it must feel. Okay. Yes, I know how they must feel being separated from their loved ones, don't know the fate of their loved ones. Same as me 11 years ago. When I was first told that my son had been murdered, I didn't know which way to go, which way to turn. And, you know, if it wasn't for some good people like it's out here now, I don't know what I would have done. So I just tell the people who's out here now to keep on praying, don't give up. We can't give up. As you see, 11 years later, I'm still out here. I will never let any of them forget my son. Eric Garner is going to go down in history. We will not forget. I will keep lifting up his name. We all should say his name. Everybody say Eric Garner. This is the day that he died. Eric Garner. Yes. And I thank y'all so much. And the immigrants, please help them. Those who are in the position to help them find their loved ones, because it's a sad thing to be separated from your family. Although I'm permanently separated from mine, but they have a chance of finding their family. And I hope that each and every one of you have some positive results on finding your children, finding your husbands, finding your uncles and aunts, because it's a shame what Trump is doing. Trump is just breaking up lives. He's destroying families. Saying that the immigrants doesn't belong here. A lot of the immigrants was here before he got here. And if you look at his history, he's an immigrant. His parents was immigrants. So what is he talking about? And whatnot. And people tell you not to say nothing. They might send us back. But they're not going to send us back. They're not willing to give back stolen property. And that's what we was, stolen property. So we ain't in any danger of going back because they brought us here. We didn't come here on our own. But I just want you all to remember this is Eric Garner's day also, and keep his name and his memory alive as I will for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Gwen Carr. And we will never forget the day that Eric Garner was murdered here in the city of New York.
Yes.
Another injustice where justice delayed is always justice denied. Next up, join me in welcoming up to the mic Reverend John Poy.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
45 years ago, an American president coined the phrase, "It's morning in America." 6 months ago, another American president issued and instituted a nightmare in America. We stand here today in solidarity with all of those who have lost their lives, all of those who have been disappeared, and all of those who stand up unafraid, unabashed, willing to push back and fight against fascism in America. The dark cloud of tyranny has swept over our nation, and it is time for good people of good conscience to stand up and push back. Stand up and fight back. When we stand together, when we fight together, we win. And for those in my community, the black community, who do not see themselves in this struggle, let me admonish you now. It was our families who were torn up and separated under chattel slavery. It were our children who were disappeared from plantations. Our parents who were disappeared from plantations. And today we see the resurrection of not just the spirit of George Wallace and the resurrection of the spirit of Bull Connor. We see the resurrection of the spirit of chattel slavery that wishes to put all of us in chains and put us in prison and put us in dark places where we can no longer be found. This is not the America that John Lewis fought and died for. This is not the America that Viola Luisa fought and died for. This is not the America that Martin Luther King Jr. fought and died for. This is not the America that we are going to tolerate. It's time for us to recognize that the oppressor of yesterday were adorned in white hoods, white masks, white robes, badges, and guns. And today the oppressors are adorned in black hoods, black masks, black vests, badges, and guns. It's the same oppressor, and indeed we are the same victims. And if we do not stand together in this moment, we will be torn apart as a nation and as a people. And as this administration shreds the Constitution and makes mockery of the Declaration of Independence, we stand here and we affirm that we are free people. We stand here and we affirm that we stand together united. Black, brown, white, all of good conscience. to push back against tyranny and despotism. The resolute debt had become the home of the spirit of segregation and hate. But the streets are the home of liberty and justice for all. And you may sit behind the resolute desk, but you will never take these streets. And we will fight until the last one of us is standing to reclaim our democracy from a tyrant and the spirit of hate, bigotry, and segregation that has resurrected itself. Jim Crow is alive and well today, but so is the spirit of John Lewis. So is the spirit of Eric Garner. So is the spirit of all those who have died at the hands of this tyrant. We will not let them be forgotten, and we will fight. We will fight. We will fight until we reclaim our country. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice.
No peace. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Next up, join me in welcoming up to the mic, Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers.
So there are about 500 to 600 events across the country right now honoring the memory of John Lewis. And John Lewis and your son dying the same day makes today a holy day in so many ways.
That's right.
The holiness of that day, of John Lewis and his holiness and his courage, reminding us of the justice we must pursue in Eric Garner's death. But there's lots of other justice we must pursue. And I'm standing here today in New York, my hometown, as opposed to any other towns around this country, to say to New York, to say to our immigrant community, to say to Dylan and his parents, that the teachers of this country are with you. The teachers of this country will not be silent. The teachers of this country understand what it means to protect our babies and protect our children. And we cannot imagine, or could not imagine, until January 20th of this year, that it would be possible for the government of this United States in this modern era to go into schools, to go into Home Depot parking lots, to go into factories, to go into restaurants, to go into volleyball courts, to go into soccer fields, and do what is unimaginable in the United States of America, which is to disappear people, to disappear children, to disappear workers. And why? Not because they're hardened criminals, to disappear them because they wanted and their parents wanted the promise of America. The promise of America. The promise that the Statue of Liberty is out in this harbor saying, virtually all of us came from people who came to this country either forcibly or voluntarily to have a better life. And our job as Americans is to stand up and say that which was good for my grandfather has to be good for immigrant families now. And so the teachers of this country, the nurses of this country, the public employees of this country are standing up, are showing up, are speaking out as John Lewis would want us to do, are making good trouble as John Lewis would want us to do. And as my dear friend, the Reverend who just said, the streets sometimes are the only place where we will have and fight for that justice and that liberty. When all else fails, when tyranny ascends, when darkness comes over us, it is the light that we get. It is the light that we get from each other as we stand together in good trouble this afternoon on the streets, saying to people all through this city and all through this nation that we will protect our immigrant friends, that we will protect our communities, that we will fight to make sure that everyone has the freedom and the justice that our Constitution and our Declaration of Human Rights and of Independence compel. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, join me in welcoming up to the mic my sister in arms, Donna Lieberman, the Executive Director of the New York Civil Liberties Union. Woo!
The New York Civil Liberties Union stands here today with hundreds of thousands of Americans across the country and many, many, many New Yorkers in the spirit of John Lewis, in the memory of Eric Garner, to make good trouble and to make our voices heard loud and clear. Hands off immigrants, hands off education and Medicaid and abortion, hands off our communities, hands off, damn it.
Yes, hands off.
And as the wannabe king does everything he can to intimidate his critics and bully us into submission, we the people what we think to peacefully and lawfully protest the policies of this or any. That's what good trouble is about. We will not be bullied into silence. We will not stand by and let the Trump regime wreak havoc with our courts and turn them into traps and wreak havoc with our schools and universities.
Yeah, go for it. I'm not worried about it. Okay, you're not worried about it.